ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਦੀ ਸਥਿਤੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਸੁਧਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਈ ਸਖਤੀਆਂ ਹਟਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਇਸ਼ਾਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਐਡਵਾਈਜ਼ਰੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ 3 ਦਿਨ ਹੋਟਲ ਕੁਆਰੰਟਾਈਨ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਰਤ ਹਟਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਲਗਭਗ ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਕਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸੁਝਾਅ ਮੰਗ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ।
And I also want to be just clear off the top that this is yet another situation where we have an expert panel coming out with some recommended changes, some different ideas from the rules that are currently in place. But in the short term, the current rules remain in place. So anybody who has some travelers going to and fro in their lives should understand that nothing's changing yet. Nevertheless, let's take a look at kind of what this latest advice is, because I have to say, Heather, they are muddying the waters in a number of areas that have been the subject of a lot of discussion in terms of how passengers, returning passengers in particular, should be screened. They weigh in on how much testing is actually really required, how long different types of travelers should be isolating, and whether travelers who are now fully or partly, I guess you could also add, vaccinated could be subject to a different set of rules, providing the government could get some kind of a vaccine passport or certification system up and running. Of course, at this point, it doesn't have that. But as you say, the recommendation getting the most attention is the one to end the mandatory 3-day supervised quarantine for air travelers that requires them to go to designated hotels. Now, we have heard complaint after complaint about these hotels, how expensive they are for starters, how unpleasant they've been for some people, that there's been occasional crowding, bad food, how some people don't even feel they're safe because we've had some isolated reports of people being assaulted, and in a couple of situations, people who believed that they may have caught COVID from their hotel stay. And the other complaint about it is that it doesn't treat all returning travelers equally, because if you return to a land border, you don't have to go to one of these hotels. And so what we've seen is that air travelers are just flying to a nearby US airport and then walking or taking some kind of a taxi service across the border to just avoid the whole quarantine hotel experience. Others were prepared to pay the $3,000 fine, so they didn't have to go there either. And so that's led a lot of people to conclude that they're just not effective. Now we have this expert advice suggesting they could be scrapped. Well, it was interesting. Even earlier in the day, Prime Minister Trudeau was asked whether quarantine hotels should be scrapped, and he kind of stuck to the government's message all along. Look, guys, not the time to be talking about travel. Take a listen.
ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਗਾਜ਼ਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਫਲਸਤੀਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ $25 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਸਹਾਇਤਾ ਭੇਜ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਅੰਤਰਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕਰੀਨਾ ਗੋਲ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਓਟਵਾ ਇਹ ਸੁਨਿਸ਼ਚਿਤ ਕਰੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਨਾਲ ਪੀੜਤ ਫਿਲਸਤੀਨੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਕਰੀਨਾ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇੰਜ ਇਸ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਵੰਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ।
The $25 million that I announced today has 3 parts to it. The first is $10 million for the immediate humanitarian needs, like psychosocial support for children in particular, immediate food assistance, and health response. The next is $10 million that will be used over the coming weeks and months for kind of initial reconstruction efforts. And then $5 million for peace building efforts. And so we know that it's quite soon after the conflict and there'll still be a needs assessment. But this is, an important response in the immediacy following the cessation of hostilities. $10 million that will go to trusted humanitarian partners with whom we have longstanding relationships in Gaza. So some of it will go to the United Nations UNRWA, through the World Food Program, through the Red Cross and the United Nations UNFPA, as well as the World Health Organization for that immediate humanitarian response. And then for the additional 15, that will really come from the needs assessment that we see over the coming weeks. Yeah, so I mean, Canada recognizes Hamas as a terrorist entity, and we do not engage with Hamas. The work that we do with UNRWA is in support of providing basic services to people on the ground in Gaza and other Palestinian refugees in the area. We have enhanced due diligence in the region to ensure just that. And these are longstanding partnerships that we've had, and we have protocols in place to ensure that that support goes to vulnerable Palestinians, and it does not in any way support the work of Hamas. Well, we've had those protocols in place for years, and we do that vetting process, and that's the enhanced due diligence that I talk about in the region that has been integral to the work that we've been doing in the Palestinian territories for years. Of course, we will be coordinating with our allies and partners in the region, USAID, as well as European countries and other like-mindeds, as we go through the reconstruction process and the humanitarian assistance in Gaza. And as I said, we're still going through that needs assessment process. So, we will, as Canada always does, contribute our fair share when it comes to humanitarian responses. So I will be engaging with colleagues and counterparts in that response. But those assessments are still to come.
ओंटारियो के प्रीमियर फोर्ड ने ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਪ੍ਰਕਿਰਿਆ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ। ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਨੇ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਬਾਲਗਾਂ ਲਈ ਖੁਰਾਕ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਨ ਵਿਚਲਾ ਅੰਤਰਾਲ ਘੱਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਫਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਬਾਇਓਟੈਕ ਅਤੇ ਮੋਡਰਨਾ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਵਿਚਲਾ ਵਕਫਾ 4 ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਲਈ ਘੱਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ।
Ontario's vaccine rollout remains our best defense against COVID-19 and our best path to getting ahead of this terrible virus. For months, thousands of dedicated people have been working around the clock to get vaccines into arms, and they've done an incredible job. We have the infrastructure, and we have an incredible team in place. And as of today, we're ahead of the schedule we set. With over 65% of adults in Ontario having received at least their first shot. We have now administered over 8.5 million doses. You think of that? Those are staggering figures. In fact, earlier today, our officials revealed that when compared against Israel, the UK, and the US, the speed of Ontario's rollout, once we got steady supply, is being amongst the best in the entire world. That's thanks to each of you signing up to get your vaccines. And it's thanks to thousands of people working at the vaccine clinics. Because of your efforts, we're now in a position to accelerate second doses in Ontario. This is great news, and I know many of you have been waiting for. As we manage supply, we're beginning with our most vulnerable, the people who need the most protection first. Starting on Monday, second doses will be offered to anyone over 80 years, followed by anyone over 70 years old, beginning the week of June the 14th. Once we've provided more protection to our most vulnerable, we'll begin offering Ontarians their second doses on a first-come, first in, first-out basis. That means we'll expand second doses based on the date you received your first. As we do, we're reducing the time between your first and second dose.